U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site. And I don't want to be cute, I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad, this could be so magnificent.
Well, Donald Trump had only been in the White House for a matter of weeks when he suggested that Gaza could be leveled, its people relocated, and the Riviera of the Middle East created there. His remarks drew widespread condemnation. Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, called the idea a serious violation of international law. Later that month, Trump doubled down, sharing a video on his Truth Social site that appalled the world. The AI-generated clip shows Gaza rebuilt as a luxury beach resort. Dollar bills are raining down on Palestinian children. There's a golden statue of the president. And finally, Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are enjoying a drink by the pool. Now, the creator of that video said it was intended to be political satire. President Trump, though, seemed to have been inspired and pushed ahead with his vision. Over the weekend, the Washington Post published a document outlining a post-war plan for Gaza that is reportedly circulating in the White House. It's not clear if the plan reflects Trump policy. The proposal is called the Gaza Reconstitution, Economic Acceleration and Transformation Trust, or GREAT Trust. Over 38 pages, the document lays out how the territory will be transformed into a trade, tech, and tourism hub. Now, according to the Washington Post, the initiative would see U.S. custodianship over Gaza for at least 10 years, during which most of the reconstruction would be completed. During that time, all 2 million Gazans would be relocated to other countries or designated restricted zones within the Gaza Strip. Israel will gradually reduce its military activity, but will maintain overarching control over security. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation will expand its operations to oversee all humanitarian needs. And the cost of reconstruction of the whole Gaza Strip is estimated to be between 70 and 100 billion U.S. dollars. The White House has not confirmed the details. Now, this is supposed to be the end result. Take a look. These images, they show a place not that different from the video shared by Trump back in February. Skyscrapers standing tall in a bustling port city, lush green spaces and modern infrastructure. Across the territory, 6 to 8 AI-powered smart cities are planned, along with a manufacturing hub named after, you guessed it, Elon Musk. Joining me here at the big table now is Adham Sahloul. Adham was a special advisor in the Biden administration. He served at the U.S. Department of Defense and the U.S. Agency for International Development. He's now with the Center for a New American Security. Adham, it's good to have you here in the studio with us. So you've seen the website, the 36 pages of what could be in Gaza. What did you think when you saw it?
Well, I'll say first and foremost that not only is what's being talked about is grotesque, but it is also illegal. And for the President of the United States to be holding water for this sort of proposal, I think is an indictment of where we are, and an indictment of nearly 80 years of U.S.-led stewardship of an Israeli-Palestinian peace process that has now culminated in this very dark chapter between Israelis and Palestinians.
Do you get the vision or the impression that this is the vision of Donald Trump, not the president, but Donald Trump, the real estate magnate?
Well, we're in the second episode of a Trump administration, and I think it's time that the American people and the international community starts to take President Trump at his word. Mm-hmm. We should also be taking Israeli leaders who are backed by the United States and the international community largely at their word, which is to say that after the Hamas-led terrorist attack on October 7th, the military actions and the proposals by Israeli leaders demonstrated that the dismantling Hamas was not the end goal, that changing the status quo on the ground in Gaza was the end goal.
And does that include relocating up to 2 million Palestinians? I mean, that's what this plan foresees. It says, temporarily, but I mean, just the idea of doing that with 2 million people is staggering.
Well, you have a number of ministers in Netanyahu's government who have advocated for these sorts of atrocities that, again, would be illegal under international law, under the international liberal order that we profess to uphold, both the United States and here with our transatlantic allies. Again, I think it's time for us to start taking these leaders at their word and look at the proof on the ground. The suffering in Gaza is immense. It is a stain on our conscience as Western societies.
This is not the only plan. There is an Egyptian Gaza Reconstruction plan that has been proposed. I mean, it calls for providing housing for the entire population within 3 years, which sounds realistic. In terms of governance, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has said that an election could take place within a year if conditions allow. That sounds like more of the same, doesn't it?
Well, certainly the Middle East as a region will continue to surprise us. There have been a number of, what you could call black swan moments in the region since October 7th. We never thought that after nearly 20 years of a so-called global war on terror that the United States would engage militarily in the Middle East in the case of the Israel-Iran war a few months ago. Look, I think we're seeing a number of proposals. There's the Egyptian initiative. There's the Arab-led initiative that uphold the firm principle that Palestinians should not be ethnically cleansed from their homeland. We're seeing the France-led initiative led by President Macron as well as the United Kingdom pushing for Palestinian statehood. At this point, leaders in Europe, in the Middle East, civil societies that have been calling for their leadership, across the world to do more to prevent what I think would be a real atrocity, which would be really changing the future of Gaza and changing the face of Gaza.
Let me ask you, about international involvement here. Egypt and Jordan, they have called on the UN Security Council to consider a peacekeeping mission to oversee governance in Gaza until reconstruction is complete. Do you think is there an appetite for that? They're talking about, international peacekeeping troops to be put in Gaza.
At some point, the international community will need to get serious about peace and security and stabilization. First and foremost, you would need a ceasefire, and you would need leaders starting in the region, in the Arab world.
Happen. I mean, this war has been going on and on. I mean, when do you think the appetite's going to come?
Well, frankly, the incentives for Netanyahu as well as Hamas to end this war are not there, and that is why the United States and European leaders need to step up to create that incentive structure.
But you don't see that incentive coming from a Trump administration either, do you?
Not when the Trump administration is advocating for something called a Gaza Riviera with a Trump statue in it.
I mean, there is an irony here, isn't there? When President Trump was elected, he advocated America first. He advocated really pulling back from all of these entangling alliances around the world that he says have made U.S. power weaker. And yet, if I read this plan that's circulating in the White House, to me, it's light on Palestinians, somewhat light on Israel, but it's heavy on America. It's more America in the Middle East.
Well, you're making the point that I think any detractor for this Trump Riviera proposal would make, which is putting American service members, diplomats, and civil servants, as well as other from coalition partners and regional actors at risk to oversee the stabilization and security environment in Gaza and between Israeli and Palestinians. That is a huge risk, not one that I think the American taxpayers and the American voters who voted for President Trump were thinking about on the ballot box in 2024. Much of these antics from these AI-generated videos and elsewhere are distractions from the fact that the Trump team does not have a plan. They are not demonstrating the political will to pressure Israeli leadership to cease fire. And, we're seeing elsewhere, in the case of Ukraine and European security, that Trump seems more intent on punishing allies than calling perpetrators of war crimes and holding them accountable.
Adham, Sahloul, unfortunately, we're out of time, but we appreciate you coming in the studio tonight. We appreciate you sharing your thoughts as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.